Hi, it's Ray. How you doing? So I got a little fire going there. Ooh, it is so chilly in California. It's 55 degrees. That's a joke, obviously, for those who are really freezing their butts off. So I just want to jump into this. I probably will talk quicker because I have a 9 o'clock client. I wanted to share this. I think it's important. So my son was having some challenges in school, and it didn't sound like my son, here. And this is for parents, basically everyone. And it was where he was having trouble, with reading, to looking exhausted when he was at school. Other things like that. And so I had a psychologist go and evaluate him and observe him. And then he did some tests with him. And he basically said that he had a learned disability and also, symptoms of ADHD. But he said this is not true because it seems as though there's some other things going on, like how he's processing information. Therefore, it would show up as a learned disability. If you're having to work a lot harder, of course, you're going to have more difficulty to attend to an assignment. And then imagine getting behind. This happened to me when I was growing up. So he said he basically gave me the printout, and then I went to a company called Brain Balance that does cognitive training, and they did their tests, and it confirmed everything. And what it confirmed was that he had primitive reflex. He was retaining primitive reflexes, and that is where there. I don't want to get into details about this, but it's where there are certain things that didn't develop while he was in his mother, and it was the primary cause of stress. So his mother was under a lot of stress. Remember, she was not in my life at the time. It was excruciating for her. And so here he has, if he were not to have a support, people would see it as if he had ADHD within the context of school and possibly medicate him or whatever else, or he would create a negative association to learning. And, like a lot of kids, like myself, I got into trouble. So this is important for parents to understand, for community to understand that it might not be what the doctor's saying. It might not be exactly what the teachers are saying, that there might be more to it, and you have to see all the moving parts. Fortunately, he has me, he chose me, and this is my field, not necessarily child development, but I understand enough to ask the right questions. And I had the right psychologist talk to the school and say that this is why this is showing up in the classroom. And he said, I have a feeling he is having difficulty actually listening and hearing things, so also have him sit closer. And sure enough, it confirmed it with these tests we did at this other place. So he's going 3 times a week, and then I do these little exercises with him at home. Some of them are just like basic touching the body, to just get the wires connected again. Another funny thing was that I just thought my son was just a Cancer. He's a Cancer with a Leo rising, but he seemed to be clumsy, and where he would bump into things or just drop things, and that's part of it also that was not developed. So I'm thinking, he's just like a lot of Cancers I know, but no, he didn't develop this. Other part is this, his body awareness. So the teacher was saying that he seems to be crossing boundaries in a sense, like he gets close to students, and he's also very loving. So, that's a whole other story. He's very cuddly. So who knows? But he's with some older kids, and she was saying that sometimes he gets into their space too much. And so she had the narrative that he needs to be taught boundaries, when it's more that he needs to understand and have body awareness. So I'm sure adults are going, oh my God, that's what happened to me. And well, now we have the support. So now this leads to the other part of this share. And again, I'm talking quickly because I have a 9 o'clock appointment. And and I'm excited to share this. And is when I got this news about part of the cause being like stress during pregnancy, for me, that was equivalent to like maybe a parent hearing that, the other parent was drinking and smoking during pregnancy. Now keep in mind that entire 9 months or 8 months, because he was born premature, and I was told also she went into labor due to stress, that I wasn't in his life. He was in a chaotic environment. And I had that feeling like, damn it. And there's this idea that I'm cleaning up the mess. Like this, for the last 6.5 years, I had lawyers involved my name wasn't even on the birth certificate. So there's many things I have done for the last 6 years. So Max showed up when he was 6 months old. And it's like 6 years later, I'm like going, oh my God, when is this going to stop? Because my child this is shown up in the classroom in first grade now with what happened during her pregnancy. So what can I do about that now? Do you see where I'm coming from? And there's no reason to blame anyone, but this is where I really, really want others to step into. And it's what really has lifted my heart. And that is, I've had I would say, an even more difficult childhood than my son. I mean, I didn't eat as healthy as he's eating. My father had PTSD. My mother was experiencing racism. I mean, the list goes on. And they didn't have the communication skills. So, and I like who I am today. And I mean, I had to work on myself. But, Max, for some reason, chose us as parents. I really believe that, and I trust that. And so while there's this label, this narrative that he maybe has challenges on the earth plane because of this consensus of reality that we've created for children, as far as measure him as being average or above average or below, that because of that, we can look at that and go, oh my God, there's something wrong with my child. That, oh my God, this is something to really be worried about. When remember, if we had different qualifiers and if we understood more with awareness, that maybe there's not a problem at all. So whether or not I understood this about Max, and whether or not if I even addressed it, like if I were to be in the dark with this and just let it be, there's also a possible chance by the time he's 8 or 9 years old that these things would catch up. Just like, children all are potty trained at their own speed to sometimes they communicate or walk later, on than other kids, that they have their own time and to everything. And many of us have had challenges, or what we call disabilities. And yet here we are, and hopefully happy and feeling good. And so I have that perspective of raising Max. And I'm very, very, I know that he chose us and chose me to be his teacher and for him to be my teacher. The aspects that are not measured in school are things like this. How much he smiles, and you can't see that right now with a mask on. How sweet he is, how kind, how gentle, how he'll problem solve, how he will help out others who are maybe being bullied. I mean, he vacuums after himself when if he makes a mess. He's an organized boy, not OCD though, and he's oh my God, an amazing child. He's cuddly, loving. Oh, you can see I love him. And so imagine the psychologist going to the school and getting a report, and even the report from a teacher being completely far removed from my report. And that's when the red flags came up. And within that context, he's challenged. So I'm working with him on that. So, he doesn't develop a negative association to learning. But one of those things that showed up, the teacher said that he sometimes seems sad or bored or restless. Well, if he's working a lot harder, if he's not able to show up in a way where he knows he can be his best, why would he not look sad or bored? You see what I'm saying? So teachers and educators and just children in other situations when the context is different will create their own narrative of how that child shows up. And so, but I know at the core and in my heart, who Max is. So, and I'm just blessed to know that I have this information to support him. I keep looking at the clock here because I've mentioned it now 3 times, a 9 o'clock appointment. I can't be late, but so I feel good about this, and of course I've shared this information with his mom, and there's no resentment, and I just said that this is what we need to do, and this is where he's at, and I primarily there was no reason to share this with her until she did say that she's pregnant now with another child, and so when I shared it with her, I said, this is going to be his younger brother, and please just make sure you are in an environment where there's not a lot of stress. And how can I support you in this also? This is going to be Max's brother. So it's important to my son. And so I want to, even though I'm not related to this child that's being brought into this planet, my son's connected. And so because he's connected, then I'm also very energetic connected to that dynamic. And if I know this information, I felt that it should be shared with her, even if she were to get defensive or whatever. But anyway, that's my share. That's my story. And so if you found value in this, if you're scratching your head and just thinking about like things that you see show up in your child, to even stuff that you see show up as an adult, a few things here. Number one, if it's regarding your child, taking this information that's shared, and remember that typically, there's a reason for a behavior, or there's something deeper why something might be happening. Number two is, remember, there are labels, and that if we didn't have those labels, would this, whatever situation is going on, be okay? Third, would this way this child is behaving be okay in a different situation, such as my son likes to make people laugh. So if he is disruptive that way in a classroom, that doesn't mean he's a bad boy or disruptive in general, but just that that's just not his audience, or just within that context, he needs to like conform. And then as an adult, you can also work on yourself to heal yourself still. In fact, I might go to this program as an adult who wrote a dissertation and has a doctorate in clinical psychology of maybe there's things going on in my brain that I can heal naturally as well. And then the very last one is just remember the spiritual journey. Remember that all the fear and stress you had about your life to how it was going to unfold, and here you are. And to be able to step back from the fear and that narrative and that seriousness, and to just be able to arrive back in the heart and trust. And that's where I'm at. And that's the expansion. And how also my son is my teacher indirectly by when I talk about him and experience compassion with him. That's something I need to remember, because I have been a perfectionist, and I have beaten myself up for not feeling like I'm enough or worthy or whatever else. So as I support him to remind him who he really is, I'm also supporting myself. So we're all in this together, and we're all masters. And have an amazing day. And again, for those who are cold, I still lit a fire, yes, I'm in California, and it's only 55 degrees. It's going to get up to 60. Oh. All right. Have an amazing day. Hi, Serena. Love you. Thank you, sister. All right. Bye. And please share this, because I just want people to be more aware. And if you notice kind of a kick of my energy, again, I have a client in about 2 minutes. I had a really good cup of coffee. All right. Bye.